I think the money used on any housing voucher should be 100% tied to treatment.
Hmm.
It's that simple. After 2013, we just started giving away vouchers and we no longer required treatment. And programs like yours need to be able to allow to have requirements for treatment. So if you come into the facility, you want to have a treatment requirement, you got to work a program, you got to do 40 hours in treatment and such. And we know from John Hopkins, that probably one of the best research institutions in the world on substance abuse, mental health, et cetera, they have found if you don't take at least 12 hours of very formal behavioral health, mental health, and substance abuse disorder treatment a week, you are not going to be able to compete with addiction and untreated mental illness. So, what we know from great research of John Hopkins, which is probably the best on untreated mental illness, substance abuse, substance disorder, behavioral health, they found that you need 12 hours of treatment each week in order to, that's the base number, minimal number to start successfully dealing with the untreated mental illness and with the substance abuse. And if you don't have 12 hours, you're not going to be able to compete with substance abuse. So if we're going to give you a housing voucher, we should have not just a requirement that you work a program, but we also fund it. So let's think about other federal programs. Pell Grant for college students getting paid for college. TANF, general welfare for families with children. Unemployment insurance. All three of those, when you receive the government money, in trade, you have to do something. Think about a Pell Grant, which it says you have to attend class. Most states requires 88.5% attendance. You got to go to class. You have to have a GPA of 2.0 if you want to keep getting your money, and you have to finish in a certain period of time. Well, we give away a housing voucher and say, good luck to you. Hope it works out with you. And
Yep.
why not, if we give away the voucher, why not also require mental health treatment, substance abuse, if that's what's needed for that person? Not everybody needs the same thing. Some people might be ready for job training and employment services and be able to go straight into that. Other people might need to deal with the substance abuse first before they go into job training. Some may need job retention programs, so they can get a job, they can get the resume done, but how do you make an 8-hour shift? How do you make sure they come back tomorrow, come back on time, come back clean and sober, so that they can keep that job? So everybody needs something unique and special, so let's customize it. And that'd be the third leg of this, is one size does not fit all. We need to customize it. Everybody has a different story on how they got there. So let's customize the treatment to help those individuals best we can. So one is fund treatment, make treatment and honor treatment, make that the number one goal. Number two, allow for requirements that nonprofits are allowed to require people to do it. And if you don't participate, you don't get the voucher. And then three is let's get really into customization, because everybody needs a different type of treatment and one size doesn't fit all. So if you were to just do those three, get that going, then I would probably start talking. Next thing we need to work on is unemployment and how to get people back into the workforce, both everything from resume writing to job interviewing, to get the job, to the job skill, to job retention.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think the Citygate stat I remember that I always cite is that housing first really is only effective for about 25% of people experiencing homelessness. It doesn't work for 75%. And I heard someone at the last conference brought up this whole idea of housing plus, which is basically what you're saying. Hey, housing plus services, plus treatment, et cetera. I think that's great. We see a bunch.
You're exactly right, because you do need the voucher. I'm not saying you don't need the voucher. I'm just saying the
100%.
voucher should come with treatment, come together. They're work together, just like a Pell Grant comes with money to get you to pay for college, but it also has requirements to it. And I hate to sort of soundbite it, but I really believe this, that compassion without accountability is enablement.
Yeah. We see a bunch of examples of cities that are doing it bad: San Francisco, LA, Philadelphia, you've mentioned. What cities have you seen that have kind of gotten this right, or at least on the right track and heading in the right direction? And in addition to things that you may have mentioned, are they doing anything different?
Well, if you want to look at some very large metro areas, San Antonio is very successful after setting up Haven for Hope. They've been in about a 15-year reduction, maintaining about 85% reduction of homelessness since they opened up about 15 years ago. Pinellas County in Florida, which is the western counties of the Tampa metro area, that area had about a 70% reduction for 12 years and maintained it. And what's so cool about those two, San Antonio and San Antonio used to have a bigger problem than Austin. Now San Antonio is very manageable, and Austin's one of the worst in the country. They did
Wow.
totally opposite. San Antonio focused on treatment, recovery, and requirement. Austin did just, we're going to give away housing vouchers. Florida, Tampa, West Tampa focused on treatment, recovery, and accountability. But then
Wow.
there are places like Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Winchester, Virginia, that these are very small communities and they're focusing on treatment and recovery and customization, and they're getting really successful. So I wrote 5 or 6 books at the end about what business can teach nonprofits, what nonprofits can teach business. And one of his main messages, what gets measured gets done. And what I've added, the Robert Marbut version of this, what gets measured gets done. And if you measure the wrong thing gets done. Right now,
Wow.
HUD's measurement on homelessness, number one measurement is how many vouchers do you give out? Number two measurement is how fast do you get a voucher? So from when you meet your case manager to getting a key, how fast is that? It's not how good was the placement. It wasn't how many people got out of homelessness. It wasn't how many people became self sufficient. It wasn't how many people got treatment. It was how many more people did you put on welfare and how fast did you get the welfare out, rather
Wow.
than how many people did we help get out of homelessness, how many people did we help get treatment, and how many people became self-sufficient. And so if we're measuring the wrong thing, we're going to do the wrong thing.
Have they filled that homeless czar position yet in this administration?
No, that and when I went in last time, I went in and at the end of year 3, and it takes. I'm not sure there's a true appreciation of how hard it is to fill about 6,000 political appointees and process people and back check people, and you have to, 1,600 of those go through Senate confirmation. So there's a whole process to that. The homelessness czar goes through a different type of confirmation process, approved by about 20 other cabinet and cabinet, sub-cabinet people.